And with ending note, I will throw you guys one curve questions. Will there be another next bull run in the next, say, 1 to 2 years? Quick yes or no, in your own opinions. And we'll wrap it up.
Yes.
I'm going to go with yes as well.
Yeah.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video, we have compiled a series of video clips for you all showing you how massive of an opportunity is at hand as we are in this fourth industrial revolution in this digital asset landscape, particularly focusing our attention on crypto. So if you all enjoy these video breakdowns, showing you all how deep the rabbit hole goes, showing you all information that the mainstream is never going to bring to your attention, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support, and it does help this channel grow and push these video breakdowns out to more like-minded individuals like yourselves. So the first series of video clips that we're going to get into just goes to show that right now, as manual retail investors that don't have a lot of regulation breathing down our neck to get involved in this space, we currently have the upper hand amongst these financial institutions. Right now, these large financial institutions are sidelined because of the unclear regulated environment. However, we as manual retail investors can buy these digital assets for dirt cheap prices right now before financial institutions actually come into this space and flood in with massive amounts of institutional volume and liquidity. In my personal opinion, and other important individuals, reputable individuals, have the same exact analogy and idea that I do, is that when these financial institutions come into the market, you as a manual retail investor will not be able to buy up these utility-driven assets for these low prices. So with that being said, let's jump into the first video clip confirming this to be the case.
It was a pleasure with everybody who invested to front run the suits. So this was a real pleasure, and I think this is a unique opportunity we've ever had. The banks were always first. Whatever trend, whatever opportunity financially came up, they were the first and sold everything with a big margin to the rest of us. And now it's exactly the opposite, and this gives me a lot of pleasure.
Now, in a video breakdown that we aired on the CYPRX platform yesterday, we talked about how we think that JP Morgan is completely leading the retail herd astray. They, in our personal opinion, again, are lying because they know what is coming. We have seen Jamie Dimon publicly on TV say that crypto's a scam, Bitcoin's going away, it has no value, it has no use case, but then we've seen other reputable individuals from JP Morgan saying that you should be paying attention to crypto and that they think it has viable use cases and that it's extremely important. So which one is it? In our personal opinion, it is the second latter. And it is that these financial institutions know exactly what is happening behind the scenes, and they know exactly how much volume and volatility is about to come into this space and drive the prices of these digital assets much, much, much higher than they are today. Take a second and listen.
Insane to see, because in my personal belief, this is retail manipulation at its finest. Leading articles getting you to try and think that this whole entire pump that we've most recently seen in Bitcoin has been driven by retail. That is completely false. Retail does not have enough freaking money to move these markets. I'm sorry, but they just don't. Can they be involved in pumping up these markets? Absolutely. But primarily driven by retail? Absolutely not. We do not have enough money to fuel these markets. We do not have enough money to move them. It has been driven by institutional investors behind the scenes that are not making their trades public, that are not making their involvement public. I almost guarantee it. So we're going to read this fundamental piece, and then I'm going to show you some insights from some individuals that have this or market fundamentals. According
for it is criminals, drug traffickers.
and just the other day,
Deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case.
Government. Can you give us more clarity on that?
Yeah, what I'd also point out is that the actual use cases are sex trafficking, tax avoidance, anti-money laundering, terrorism financing. It's not people just buying and selling Bitcoin.
It's not people just buying and selling Bitcoin.
another thing I forgot to point out is that, remember, the fundamental piece that we just read that says that retail traders are driving demand in Bitcoin transactions right now is what's been fueling the market. But the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, just said that it's not people buying and selling Bitcoin. You guys see, the devil's in the details. You got to be able to pick up on this stuff, right? And you remember this reputable individual, i.e. a highly reputable individual in Algo, saying that Jamie Dimon is a liar.
Yeah, I mean, they are all looking at it. And somebody mentioned earlier, JP Morgan is really, despite what the CEO of JP Morgan says, JP Morgan is making a lot of strides.
And then just to confirm that they are interested, i.e. JP Morgan, in digital assets, here's a reputable individual from JP Morgan solidifying that they are for a fact interested in crypto and that you should be as well.
We at JP Morgan obviously are a meaningful player in the space, and we think that the whole crypto DLT technology is very exciting, and that is something that one should take very seriously.
So again, this is all just.
We also have confirms from reputable individuals that these financial institutions, at least a large handful of them that are willing to take the risk, are for a fact buying. Now, in a previous fundamental that we aired on the CYPRX platform, JP Morgan went on to say that the vast majority of volume and transactions in the market right now are due to retail investors driving the demand and price higher on specifically Bitcoin. In our personal belief, that is a false narrative and not true. Here are some reputable individuals stating that financial institutions are for a fact buying up digital assets right now and moving quietly behind the scenes.
I think it's been what, like 1 or 2 billion that's flown in today. So I would call that like a probably top 3 ETF launch. And it just gives you a proxy of how much demand is out there. And if you've ever bought large amounts of cryptocurrency, like we've done a couple of times, like $200-300 million buys of various cryptos. And what's really obvious to you is that the books are actually very thin. Like 99% of the volume that's transacting, whatever, like the 20, 30, $40 billion a day of volume, is just market makers trading against each other. There's no like, less of it is just real people actually buying. Less of it is just real people actually buying.
Now, last point I'll make is that I called JP Morgan. That's Jamie Dimon. JP Morgan crypto is a pet rock. It's a Ponzi scheme.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, we should shut it down. If I was the government, we would shut it down. These are direct quotes from Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan. And I asked the private banker there, can I put IBIT, which is the BlackRock shares, in my personal account? And they got back to me and said they're accepting orders on a non-solicited basis. So if you call there and you ask them to buy it for you, they will. I don't think people understand how seismic that is. I don't think people understand the opportunity. Last point. I don't think people understand how seismic that is. I don't think people understand the opportunity. Last point. I worked on Wall Street. I guess I'm technically still on Wall Street for 35 years. These products are sold. They're not bought. There will be legions of people all over Wall Street selling these products, FAs, brokers, consultants. There'll be tactical asset allocation portfolio managers instructed by CEOs, put 1 or 2% into a Bitcoin ETF and a $5-6 billion portfolio. BlackRock has a $2 trillion multi-strat. Imagine a 1 or 2% allocation into their IBIT shares, just to give you the magnitude of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I think it's been mainly driven by the faster moving traditional investors now. So I don't think that there is a big in the uptick from 15 or from 17 to the place where we're standing right now. It was not the usual retail investor. Yes, I do believe some of them are already secretly buying.
Crazy. What it really is about it's firing a gun on like, right, we're ready. The regulators are ready. It's time to go to the next level of institutional adoption. And the good news is, and this goes back to a bit what we were saying before, the institutional adoption cycle has been continuing underneath all of this.
So what the point I want to make is you're seeing traditional players in the ecosystem adopting the technology very silently and bringing it in and still servicing the clients.
So just take a second and think about that. Why would these reputable individuals with much more credentials than I myself sit on stage in front of an audience, most likely with other financial institutions, regulators, and high-end hedge funds and family offices watching their presentation, say that they think that financial institutions are silently creeping in the background? It is most likely because that is to be the case. Again, in our personal opinion, we have a firm belief that individuals that don't take initiative now, while these digital assets are at low valuations, will most likely miss the train that is set to completely take off in the next couple of months/years. Again, I'm not here to time the markets. I'm here to show you all that right now there's a massive opportunity that presents itself. We have the upper hand on the financial institutions that are sidelined right now because of regulations, and Major organizations like JP Morgan are trying to distract you. This is why it's important to do your research. Last but not least, we have some video clips. What are one of the main themes that we've been talking about on the CYPRX platform? It's that in previous bull market cycles, the infrastructure layer, the foundation to actually handle large amounts of institutional volume and liquidity was not ready. That foundation was not laid in previous market cycles. That is all about the change, and that is changing. The infrastructure is laid.
We see globally, and it varies across regions, financial market participants setting up teams for real. So there's a new wave, like now the whole infrastructure is ready for them. So from custody to risk management tools, people selling that like we do, market access, etc. And there's a wave of them getting ready for next year.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's 110% ready, but they have been developing, they have been working on it, and it is more solidified than in previous market cycles to this day. So take a second and listen to these reputable individuals mention that infrastructure is extremely important, that the infrastructure is being built, and then take a second and listen to Mance, Harmon, and Lehman Beard solidify it all by saying that this is going to be absolutely insane, where they get into talk about a tokenized world and how everything in the near future will be represented by tokens on a blockchain.
Physical world interacting with the digital world. We need a lot of infrastructure. So the opportunity here is fucking massive. Excuse my language, but it's really, really, really large. The digital world, we need a lot of infrastructure.
Also, as we have scaled up, we've had to start looking at how do you manage huge amounts of data. Because, of course, if you're immutably storing everything forever and you have 1,000 transactions a second or tens of thousands or whatever, you have to be storing that and then be able to access it quickly and all of that. And so there's a lot of infrastructure that is being built right now to handle all this usage that is coming. And so there's a lot of infrastructure that is being built right now to handle all this usage that is coming.
To build decentralized applications to realize that overarching vision. That vision is going to be realized in every sector of the industry. I mean, what you hear about a lot is the finance sector, but it's much broader than that. It's going to be in finance, it's going to be in real estate, it's going to be in supply chain use cases, and et cetera, et cetera. Every part of the internet, every sector of society is going to be affected by this technology and this model in this new version of the internet that's being created. And Hedera is one of those players. Everything that you see and touch is going to have an associated token. What we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg. Even if we forget about pictures, right? Forget about apes. Even if we look at the tokenization of financial instruments, as we've seen through KKR and maybe real estate, et cetera, all of that is just the tip of the iceberg to what's coming.
So hopefully these video breakdowns gave you guys insights from reputable individuals that are trying to show you all how massive of an opportunity this truly is.
Bitcoin's going to be, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you have something for ETH, it's going to be similar. There's just not enough coins to go around at a certain point.
Nobody really, that's what I also agree. Nobody really understands what will happen.
I don't think people understand how seismic that is. I don't think people understand the opportunity. Last point.
Because you think about the pension funds. They're just exactly as Sven described. And once they are getting in, it's like we will have a bottleneck which is like which is unprecedented, because they all want to go through that door. And then you're hitting a market where there is basically very, very low liquidity. And then we all know what happens when you have less supply but a lot of demand. So the price eventually will go up.
Prove me wrong. Tell me the definition
you
of Web3.
should look at it as this is the biggest opportunity ever for mankind.
Answer the question wrong and ask somebody else to answer it.
Web3 is the last piece of innovation that mankind will ever need.
Okay, but what is it?
I think at some point we're going to see a lot of innovation back in the space coming from the CBDC side. And the thing is, this innovation, I think, is going to be such that we can't even yet imagine what's going to happen. It's like the same thing with ChatGPT and AI. It's going to be so big at some point that things are going to change dramatically in a way that we can't yet even imagine.
Again, none of these video breakdowns will make it to the mainstream, i.e. CNN, Fox News, ABC News, whatever the case may be, whatever's being pumped out to the mainstream, you will never see these video breakdowns. So do us a favor, showing you guys that the devil's in the details, to do your research and to focus on what's actually happening behind the scenes and not the mainstream lies that are being pumped out to you. Dial in, focus, ladies and gentlemen, Now is the opportune moment to capitalize on discounted prices in this space. I'm not here to tell you what opportunities to take advantage of. I'm just here to let you know that there is for a fact opportunity at hand for those individuals that are willing to accept the risk, willing to do the research, and willing to be patient enough for all of this to play out. None of this is financial advice. You all need to take upon yourselves to do your own personal research, assess your own risk properly, and decide what digital assets you should be investing in. Hopefully it's ones that are driven by utility and that actually have real world use case and will most likely be implemented in the future financial system moving forward. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there. Hopefully this gave you guys some good, valuable insights to keep you all hopeful and forward looking in this digital asset landscape. If it did, do us a favor, drop us a like. Make sure that you click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that way you can get updated on any further video breakdowns that we send out to you all on the CYPRX platforms. And as always, I will see you all in the next video breakdown.